Hi crypto fans, welcome to CCS Cryptocurrency State. My name is Santiago, I'm a web developer and investor, and in today's video I'm going to do some technical analysis. First, a deep TA on Bitcoin and what possible scenarios can happen in the short term and middle term, and then I will be reviewing the most important altcoins on the top 10, Ethereum ADA DOT XRP, and one of my favorites out of the top 10, One. So if you are interested in this kind of review, technical analysis, see what happened in the short term, middle term, keep the video until the end. Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get the notifications. And don't forget to get into the giveaway. I will be giving half of a Bitcoin to one winner and 5 Ethereum to 5 different winners. Without anything else, let's go into it. Hey guys, well, this is the daily chart of Bitcoin, a little of history. Beginning of December 2020, we broke the $20,000, which was mainly the previous all-time high on the last bull run. From there, we did some amazing thing. In 3 months, we created this parabolic uptrend and we reached $61,000. Last all-time high was here around 63. But this we did 3x from the last all-time high in 3 months, so it was very expected a downtrend at some point of this. We will play out this Wyckoff distribution pattern that I show. I think I was one of the first YouTubers on show that pattern, but we played perfectly, and then we broke the resistance here of the neckline of that pattern, which was here around $43,000, and there we have our peak, which was a 53% approximately. From the last week, all YouTubers are talking about this symmetrical triangle. Right now we are kind of going up above from the line of resistance, but the important thing here is the volume. The volume is what gives you confirmation when a pattern is broken. So until we don't have a lot of volume like this candle or this candle, this could be a completely fake out. So I am doing this video Thursday night, so tomorrow morning when you see this, probably something will happen here. Or maybe just in 1 hour the daily candle will close, and then the next candle could still go a little bearish and maintain inside the pattern here. But mainly these patterns broke on the 70% of the pattern, and we already passed that. So we only have 2-3 more days before this pattern is broken. Like I say, every YouTuber is talking about this, but I want to mention something about this triangle that not many people talk about. When I teach technical analysis, I do classes from technical analysis. I always say that you need to draw your trend lines even in a symmetrical triangle or in any pattern. Extend your trend lines the most that you can, and that is important because why? Let me show you here. All YouTubers have this trend line drawn here on the symmetrical triangle, but if you extend this trend line you will see a lot of confluence here. For example, over the last run that we have, when we hit $60,000, from there we are getting resistance for that trend line. So first we have resistance here, all the way here we have resistance too. Then we held support, we broke all-time high, and from the all-time high we came back and held support all this trend line again. Then we have this other shoulder here for the pattern. When we get here, after we broke this Wyckoff distribution, we held a little of support there, and from there we broke the resistance from the last of the day, and we held it as resistance now. Now it was resistance here, and right now is acting as resistance too. So this trend is not only part of the symmetrical triangle, but has a history from March of 2021. So this is a very important trend line on this chart, because we had a lot of resistance before, and then we held its support. So that is why it's not only a confluence that this is a symmetrical triangle, but in these two trend lines that we have for the symmetrical triangle, the trend line above has a lot of confluence from the last 3 months, almost 4 months. So this will make that it's more difficult to break, because we tested resistance all the way here with body candles and wicks, and we are testing it right now again in this symmetrical triangle again. So breaking this trend with volume, it will be very powerful for Bitcoin. But anyways, I want to paint here one scenario. If we break this, the next resistance level is here at $43,000. This is the most important level. It's not the symmetrical triangle. The $43,000 is our previous all-time high here before we enter into the Y-hub distribution pattern. We had confluence on this line here. We then broke the resistance here, and we held it as support here. And we also coincide with this part of the symmetrical triangle, and we held it as support a little bit there before the dip. So this 43,000 level, this red line, is the most important one. So in order to me to turn bullish again, we need to break this, maybe hit this as resistance, the 48, and then we need to come back, test the 43 as support, and maybe have some distribution there. That would imply that we are heading as support now. And because this trend line was our previous resistance support here, this will probably create a new all-time high here, a higher high, a lower high also, and from here, after some consolidation, then we can break the next level and consolidate again after here above the $48,000. So this is the most bullish scenario right now. If we consolidate above the $43,000, I think all the bearish indicators that we have right now, it will turn bullish, and this dip, it will be only a fake out, and we will not get a bear market or anything like that. But if we don't get above the 43,000 level, then the next thing to happen is break the support at 34, test the $30,000 again, which coincide here. Sorry. I use the map here. It will hold support here. This is our 30,000 level, and from there I don't see why not we cannot go into the 20,000 again to test support there. But this is all a bearish situation. But if we are above the last all-time high at $20,000, I think still we have chances. Probably the bull run will be more slowly. We may consolidate during the summer. So here is the situation, and then we go back to the 20,000. And from here we can start consolidating, and maybe but January, February 2022, we could have an all-time high, creating a more trend to the upside from there. But it's important that we broke the $30,000. We don't have too much resistance to the support, to the $20,000. So this will be the bearish situation for Bitcoin, and this is the bullish situation for Bitcoin. So bullish situation is not for me to break this this triangle. It's mostly that we break this trend line that is part of the triangle right now. Like I mentioned here, we have this trend line from 3 months acting as support and resistance, which is also part of this symmetrical triangle. So for me, we need to break this triangle and actually break the $43,000 level and have the 43 as support. We can consolidate above that. That will be super healthy for Bitcoin. And the bearish pattern is break this triangle below, test the $30,000, and if we don't hold it as support, then probably we will go lower, and I dare to say that $20,000 is still in the cards. So that is my prediction for Bitcoin in the short term, middle term. In terms of the indicators, this is very important. We have a bullish MACD cross already confirmed on the daily chart, so this is very bullish. In terms of the RSI, we have this line of support for 1, 2, 3, 4 times since January 2021, and then acted as resistance one time here, we broke up, acted as support, and now we are testing it at resistance once more. So the 41 level is very important. We need to break that to the upside and maybe go into 45, 47. That would be bullish in the RSI. And on the stochastic RSI for the daily chart, we are very overextended right now. So what we want to see here is that we want to the stochastic RSI maybe cross here and have some fake out crosses here and maintain the bullishness above the 80 level, something like happened here. That could create some more bullish steam. But if we cross the stochastic RSI down and enter it with the cross below the 70, the 80 level, then we will have a bearish momentum. So basically we need to wait this confirmation. Looking into the exponential moving average, the ribbon, we are still bearish. We don't even hit the resistance yet. The ribbon is holding very close to the line of resistance here that we have mentioned, which was previous support and resistance, and now is part of the symmetrical triangle. So this will be most difficult to Bitcoin because it will be the first time that we are trying to pass the ribbon as a resistance. So this is coinciding with this line, so that will mean that we have a lot of resistance here. All these aspects from the $43,000 that I mentioned to the line of the symmetrical triangle, we have a lot of resistance here. If we break the ribbon and we consolidate above 47,000, right now that is above of the ribbon, then we are completely bullish here, because that is a great chance that Bitcoin could consolidate over there and then create higher highs from there. And if we see this on the 4-hour chart, this is a different perspective. We have been bearish all the time here. Actually, we have a fake out here. And now on the 4-hour level, we are breaking the structure of the symmetrical triangle, but with very little volume, so this could be easily a fake out. We need to wait and see. But you can see here how the ribbon on 4-hour, we are holding support here, and now the lower moving average are trending up. So if the ribbon start going up and the price follows the ribbon as support, that will be very, very bullish. You can see it here, how all the moving average are crossing bullish right now. So this could continue going up and hold it at support, and if the price continue with the same logic, that will be very bullish from the 4-hour perspective, and then can translate into the 1-hour perspective later. I am in the VLX chart right now, the historical price of Bitcoin. The hash ribbon that I mentioned on last video still is in progress. We didn't have a fake out, a fake signal yet, but we neither have the buy signal yet, so we are waiting for that. If the price starts going bullish, then that could trigger the buy signal, but we need to wait. The money flow index is very neutral right now. It's at 48, so this could turn bearish or bullish anytime, so not much indication there. And looking at the 4 exponential moving average, we have here the 20, the 50, 100, and 200. We have these two bearish crosses. So this will also zoom more resistance into the breakout of the Bitcoin price. So again, we need to support the $43,000. That will make us put about these two moving average, which is the 20 and the 200, which are already crossed, and that could help us to get some support about those levels. But right now these crosses are very bearish. It's not the death cross from the most important moving average, but this is starting to look bearish on the short term. Looking at other indicators, the TD sequential is very neutral right now. We had a 1, 2, 3 bullish, then a 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish. Now we have a 1, 2 bullish, so it's not too much to see here. It's very neutral, nothing to indicate there. The SAR is very overextended here from the bearish perspective, and still we don't have any indication of a reversal for that indicator, so we could continue seeing a bearish trend here. From the Bollinger Bands, and the bands are still like finding the new place from after this complete bearish trend. You can see here that here we went out of the bands. Usually the price action, the candles never are more than the 93%, 95% of the time they are inside the bands, and when we are outside there, even in a bearish or bullish case, that makes the bands stretch a lot. Now the upper band is trending lower, and probably we will hit some resistance from that. You can see here how the middle band of the Bollinger Bands is acting as resistance right now. So if we move above the middle line of the Bollinger Bands, that will be very bullish for this indicator. But again, we need to consolidate more in order to these bands get the natural form for the price. Before we continue with the video, remember that I am doing an amazing giveaway. I will be giving half of a Bitcoin to one winner and 5 Ethereum to 5 different winners. If you want to participate, it's super easy, just a couple of clicks. Follow the link in the description. But remember that you need to be subscribed to the channel with the bell on to be considered. For the Bitcoin dominance, there are not much news. We are still in this void area here. Remember what I have here, this was the last altcoin season from the last bull run, 2017-2018. We experienced something similar here, and right now we are trending between these two lines of support and resistance, like you can see here. After our dump, we held resistance on this line, which was previous support and resistance. And right now we are at 42. The price to look is 38%. That will be this point of consolidation period here, support and resistance, and this touch of support. So basically, and we held it as support here again. Basically, if we are above from 38, 39, that is okay from Bitcoin. If we break that, we can see 34, and below that is the void, the absolute void for Bitcoin. We never had data from the Bitcoin dominance below that 34. So right now, if we have some recovery on the Bitcoin price, we need to hold support above 50. That will be the most important for Bitcoin dominance. If we are below 50, then still nothing could happen here. While going to the altcoins for Ethereum, for me it's crystal clear. Remember that we need to see always what happened with Bitcoin. Right now is the king of the market, and if we want to recover from the continuation from this bearish trend that we have right now, it will happen. Bitcoin will lead the recovery. So anyways, for Ethereum, I have this Fibonacci extension mark from the last run that we have, and you can see how the 0.6 and the golden pocket coincide with this resistance line. And right now this is the most important line for Ethereum, that is actually at 2,878, basically 2,900. So you can see how we have resistance here, a clear 2 candle body close resistance, and now we are holding that resistance again. And I really am planning to do some leverage trading if Ethereum can go above 2009. And the next resistance, it will be here around 3,200, which coincides the 0.5 Fibonacci extension here. And we held it in these candles as support and a support here again. And from there, the next point on the Fibonacci extension, the 0.382, that will be the next level. But between these levels, there are not much support and resistance, so you can easily trade from 2,900 to 3,200 mainly, and from here to 3,400, and from here you basically don't have any more resistance until the last all-time high at 4,100. So this chart is super clear and is begging for a breakout. So it will be very nice if Bitcoin can break and we can see Ethereum above this. Of course, I am seeing the daily charts. It will be great if we can consolidate above these levels and then break this level again and do something like that. And from here, maybe we can break again. Something like that, it will be very healthy. And these are the levels to enter some trading positions, to do some longs. Right now, I am not thinking to do a short on Ethereum. I will be only doing a long if that happens. We also have a daily MACD cross happening right now, which is very bullish. But like Bitcoin, we have the stochastic RSI, a little overextended, and the RSI doesn't say too much. That's it all for Ethereum. Moving into ADA, well, this is another very clear chart. We had been in this consolidation phase from ADA from, I will say, February 2021 until we break this pattern and we created the last all-time high. So this trend line is the most important trend line at 1.5 basically. $1.50 is the most important trend line of the ADA chart against USDT, for example, and against the dollar. So basically we have all this resistance here. Once we break it, we held it all as support around this area. Even if we get these very bearish peaks in the bearish scenario that we play out on the last couple of weeks, ADA is playing like, if you see this chart, you will not see immediately that we have a 50% retracement. Doesn't look like that. ADA is one of the coins that held it most the support on this chart. So basically we are in a very clear area like with Ethereum. If we break the 1.8 with some volume and we held it as support, that will mean that we have a lot of strength on ADA and you can enter some trading positions there because there are not much resistance above the 0.6. So if you are above $2, then you are to the moon. And if we are above 1.83, let's say, you can do some trades until the Fibonacci extensions here, until $2, for example. Right now the price is between the golden pocket from the last bull. In the bearish scenario, I think we are okay if we are above the 1.5. That is the thing that market the two levels that we have here. So if we go down below 1.5, that means that we can consolidate between $1 and 1.5 in this area. But you can see this rectangle, it was all held the support and resistance before. So below $1, then that is where we have problems for ADA. For XRP, this is the situation. From November 2020, we have been consolidating inside this symmetrical triangle too. Then in the end of March, we create the last all-time high that we have around $2. From there, we have this chop action, then we break down. And look where we have support around this last all-time high situation that we have on our bottom at 65 cents. And that is the limit for me. If we are above this rectangle, which in the lower part is 65 cents, we can consolidate and we are healthy on XRP. If we break this trend, if we break 65, then we have a lot of problems for XRP. And right now we are at $1.04, and we have resistance around this line, which coincide the 0.6 Fibonacci and the golden pocket Fibonacci from this big run that we have. So right now we are in a very important situation. If we break that and we at least consolidate inside the golden pocket, that will be very bullish. That means that we will be between $1.10 and $1.25. That will be very bullish for XRP. And of course, more bullish than that is consolidate about $1.36, which is our top areas here on XRP. But right now, I don't like too much the zone that we are. We need to break $1.11 and consolidate above here. Right now, the 0.6 Fibonacci is very strong resistance right now. And we are consolidating in a very rare or not explored area right now. So we need to keep above the 78 cents, and if a bullish scenario is to be above $1.12. We have also a bullish cross on the MACD, and we are very similar in the indicators to the other altcoins. The DOT chart is very similar to Bitcoin. We don't have a very exactly Wyckoff distribution pattern, but it's very similar. And right now we are inside this triangle, the symmetrical triangle, and like Bitcoin, this trend of the triangle, if I extend it a lot, you can see all the confluence that we have. Have this confluence from this top, all this wave was resistance. We break this support area here before. Then we go back, we break it, we held it as a support here, we held it as support, then resistance, and when we broke this trend line, we held it as resistance here, and right now we are holding as resistance. So this trend line is very important to break. And like Bitcoin, we need volume, we have a MACD cross bullish, all the indicators here looks bullish, but we need to see what happened with Bitcoin. So for Polkadot, we need to be very healthy, we need to be about $32. To be a little more healthy, we need to be about $30. $30 is what will mark a very important point of reversal in the price for DOT, because it will be the resistance and support here, all the way here, support and support here. That will give us a better place to consolidate. Right now, this range is not very healthy for DOT, so we need to consolidate about $30. And now the chart for Harmony 1 against USDT. Well, I always say from after our bull run that we have on this coin, of course, it was around March. I say always that this is a very good zone to enter a position in one. Not to trade leverage, but to invest. I say below 10 cents it's a very good opportunity to one, and I continue standing that. All these places was before a very good uptrend on one. Right now we are holding this as support from the last peak that we have, and this area coincides to the golden pocket also. The 0.6 and 0.5 is very important on the Fibonacci extensions, and if we are above the 0.6, that is very important for one, so we need to keep above 10 cents in order to consolidate in a healthy way. But of course, like the other indicators, we are having a bullish MACD cross here, and we are bullish on these two indicators. But anyways, we need to see what happened with Bitcoin. Below 10 cents is a good opportunity to buy. If we go below 5 cents, I will say 6 cents, then we are in problems. That will be the markup for one for me. Between 6 cents and 10 cents is very healthy to buy. If we go below 6 cents, then we are in problems, and maybe you need to see or think about shorting some of the one tokens. But if you are for the long run, below 10 cents is a good place to go to enter positions and hold it for the rest of the bull run. But the chart need to wait what happened with Bitcoin. Well guys, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed all this technical analysis, and we will see what happened. Maybe tomorrow when you see this video, we already have some changes on the chart, or maybe not. But anyways, this TA will help you for the next days or weeks to see what happened. That's all for the video. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell to get the notifications, and enter into the giveaway. For that, you need to be subscribed with the bell on. So you need to activate all the notifications. When you click subscribe, then you click in all. So YouTube will tell you when I get a new video. That's it for the video, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.